Good morning, this is a Fairline Targa 34. It's a 1998 model, and we've done a lot of these videos on Targa 34s now. So what we want to do on this one is go through all the upgrades it's had, because with Targa 34s, what we have now found, it's not about the age of the boat, it's about all the upgrades it's had over the years, and this has had quite a few in the last couple of years. So I want to go through them all with you on this walkthrough tour right here, right now. Right, I'm Jonathan Parker from Parkerham's Boat Sales, and we're here today in Port Solent to show you this Targa 34. Now, it's a 1998, which means it's actually a Mark 1 Targa 34. They did go to the Mark 2 a couple of years later. There's some different interior changes which you'll see on this walkthrough tour. But like I was saying, with Targa 34s, there's certain elements in them that there's really, from the first one to the last one, there's only about 7 years difference. So really, even the newest one's now 20 years old. So it's all about how they've been looked over and the upgrades they've had over the years. One thing as well, which I want to start off with, is the hull. So the hull on the Targa 34s, there's always something that was, over the years, if they weren't looked after, they become problematic with blooming and things like that, and wear. But this hull is actually in fantastic condition. It's really nice gloss to the blue hull. They did make these in green as well. Blue and green were the two options at the time. So to have a blue Mark 1 actually is sometimes quite rare as well. Quite often they've been wrapped or repainted. This is actually really nice condition. This does have bow cushions as well, which I'll show you. They're actually down below, so I'll show you them when we go down into the aft cabin. But the usual exterior, though, of the Targa 34 has not really changed, and the cockpit space has not changed from the Mark 1 to the Mark 2. But if we jump on, first thing I want to show you is the covers. So if you can see any dust, ignore it. It's not the boat's fault. We had some rain and it's got this like Sahara sand dust in it, which has kind of hit all the boats in the country, I think, at the moment. My own boat's covered in it as well. It's this horrible orange dust, so ignore that. But these covers are actually new in 2024. So these were all done in 2024. So it's got all new covers, which is one of the things on an older boat that you have to consider. Interestingly enough, it's got the option as well for the life raft. You don't always see this on the Mark 1, so that was an option, so a life raft can fit into there. That also gives you good rear access to the engines if you need to. One of the problems with the Targa 34s is getting to the back part of the engines when you need to do maintenance, and that actually gives you the access. You can just unscrew that and pull it out. Also on here, there is, actually probably easier if you come inside, this is all teaked throughout as well, but it's actually got a tow post on there, so I don't think I've seen that before on them. So it's actually an interesting addition as well, which is a tow pole on there. But as you come in, there's obviously been a different table fitted. So this is a teak table, which sort of complements the flooring, but also it's been reupholstered. So it's one of the upgrades that people will need to do when the boat gets to this sort of age. And so it's been upgraded with this grey silver tex upholstery, which is a nice upgrade. The speaker system and the stereo system has also been upgraded, so you can see it's got Fusion speakers not only down here but also in the radar arch above. This also has underwater lights fitted as well, so it's got nice underwater lights. And then you can see it continues to silver tex all up to the top space as well, to the seating. It does have the fridge unit as well. And as well as it's obviously got the green covers, perspex covers for everything. There was two options with these. You could either have green or smoked, but this has got the green option. I do like the green option. It gives it a bit more light in here. Up to the helm position, obviously that's not a Fairline steering wheel, so the steering wheel's been upgraded to a leather finished one. It's nice and chunky, quite a nice chunky feel. Also, we've had a Raymarine chart plotter fitted. This is complemented with a Raymarine quantum radar as well, so it's got that upgrade. And again, that can be a few, probably £4,000 or £5,000 upgrade. Is actually just doing basic navigation equipment, and you can go the whole hog as well, and you can spend a fortune. So having the upgrades on that is also a good benefit. The Fusion stereo system control is here as well. and you can Bluetooth with your phone. You can also have the app on your phone, so you can control it completely from your telephone as well. So it's a nice upgrade to have. The instrumentation on the dash is slightly different layout from the Mark II, but not significant, essentially the same. This does have a barrel thruster. It's rare to see Targa 34s without barrel thrusters, but the early ones had a different controller, where this is the later side power controller as well, so it just gives it that more modern feel. The other thing as well, which is very rare on a Mark 1, is actually this has got the Volvo Penta CAD 44 engines in it, so it's got the later CAD engines, which actually has the EDC control. So even though these look like conventional cable controls, they're not. They're electronic controls. And this was actually produced before they then replaced them with the neater, the smaller version of the EDC control. But it's CAD 44 engines in this, and that is when they probably first came out in '98. So it's got that upgrade as well. And that would have been a significant money upgrade as well to do that. The other thing as well is battery switches. So on the later ones, the battery switches were on switches under here. The battery switches are actually fitted behind the door, and they're conventional red switches up. They changed them to the electronic ones, which are controlled at the helm. But in my experience, some of the Mark IIs, you do have problems with them. I do like the proper solid battery switches. Let me take the shoes off. And we'll come down below, and it's kind of down here that you'll see the layout difference if you've ever looked at a Mark II. With the Mark I, what they essentially have done is that they've swapped the galley with the heads. In doing that, what that enabled was the heads to be sort of a Jack and Jill arrangement with the forward cabin. And it essentially made the forward cabin bed sort of a sideways bed, and made that forward cabin area a little bit bigger. But it reduced the size of the heads quite significantly, which I'll show you in a sec. And also the galley space as well becomes slightly separated from the seating area, whereas this layout is all part of one area, which I actually quite like. In a lot of ways, I do prefer this layout, mainly because of the heads, which I'll show you in a sec. But you can see they fitted a huge TV. So a great big TV on here, which will stay with the boat. There's also, you've got a sink, but also a nice sort of drainer as well. So it's a sunken-in drainer, which has its own plug, which is quite nice. So it's not a double sink, but it's just got that option of there, which is a nice addition. Nice style to it as well. And then storage cupboards above. You've got a twin gas hob up here, and then a microwave down there, which is also a grill and convection oven. And then we've got a fridge, which I don't think this is original because it's quite newish looking. So it's quite new looking, so I think that's been added as well as obviously that combi oven is definitely been added as a later one, as well as the TV. They didn't make these in 1998, I'll tell you that. And this seating area is really smart. It's nice big, it's quite spacious down here. This is actually it hasn't got diesel heating, but it's got reverse cycle air conditioning. Now, it seems to me that in modern times, there's been more and more of a need for actually air conditioning on boats, especially when you get these really hot days in the summer and just trying to get out of the heat, because the cockpit areas get very hot. It's very hard to get out of the heat on the really hot summer days. So having an option where you can have air-conditioned room down here is actually a really good option. And sometimes I wish I had it on my own boat, which I don't. So that is a great addition. We've obviously got this table, which does extend out somehow, as you can see. I don't know how to do it. Oh, there's a couple of clips. So this sort of extends out, and then there's an infill, so you can actually make this into a like a bigger sort of dining table. And this you can raise and lower as well. So you can raise and lower it, so it can be a proper dining table or coffee table. So it's quite a nice table layout, a nice finish as well, nice condition. You've got to remember this is still a 1998 boat, so now 27 years old, but everything is in nice sort of condition, and all the woodwork's nice. It's quite protected from the sunshine. The only bit that isn't is this shelf unit. You can see over the years water's got down under there, but I've been doing a similar thing with my own boats. I've got an older Fairline as well. I'm actually just covered these in a different finish, and it actually really looks really smart. So it's a really nice thing to do. It's just a couple of touches like that, and then you can make this into a nice service area again. So actually it doesn't look particularly nice, but it's easily rectified. But apart from that, all the woodwork looks quite smart. I can't really see much else wrong. Let me show you the forward cabin now. What this is actually a bigger bed than the Mark II, much bigger, but as you can see, you're straight into it. So this is why they changed it, so you can actually, there is an infill in here, so you can remove this section and make it into a V, so it can be like a double V berth, but the infill's in. So if the infill was out, you can walk in here, shut the door, you can get changing things, and then you can go on the bed. But if you wanted it the big double bed, which is laid up as, then the infill's in and you literally have to climb in. If you did have it up this, one of the benefits though is that you've got quite good storage under there, so you can store things under there. There is storage under the beds as well, but that's quite easy in and out storage. Let me jump on. So I'm going to jump on and come to bed. But once you're in here, it's a really big bed. So as you know, well, you probably know how tall I am now. I'm 6 foot tall, and you can also, I mean, there's various ways you can sleep in here. I was going for this way, which is quite nice because you've got the overhead light. There's another TV on the wall here, hence why I'm this way round. So there's a JVC TV flat screen on the wall, and then you've got the cupboards either side. Obviously you've got the curtains, which give a nice finish once they're shut, and this spline can be a fly screen, which is set up now, or can be pulled across for a blackout. There's also a nice mirror on the wall as well, but it's a nice size bed in this cabin, and it feels very spacious once you're in here. Right, let me jump out. Shut the door. But there is also the second cabin, and the second cabin as well has a double, but this is a twin, so it's a twin room. So this now has a twin room. You can see these are the bow cushions, so made into the Silvertex upholstery as well. I don't know, it's a little bit dark down here now we've come out the sunlight, but you've got the twin bed, so this actually is a nice sized cabin as well. This hasn't really changed in size from the Mark II, so very similar, pretty much the same. And you do have this cabinetry as well in here with storage, and there is an optional sink in here. So again, that was an option that you do get on the Mark II as well, but obviously it's added into this Mark I. And again, there's another big mirror which you can see me in. Hello. Full length mirror there. Right, let me part this back out. And you do have the wardrobe at the back, as you know, but the big difference on the Mark I is the heads, and I'll show you what it is. So we have normal toilet with the traditional Fairline cover over the top, but in the Mark II this is a fully wet room. So if you wanted to have a shower, there's a curtain comes across and you can shower, but everything gets wet, and so a lot of people don't bother. On my old Fairline, I've got an old 42. It has a separate shower cubicle. Use it all the time because it's a separate shower cubicle. You don't get anything else wet. You just get the shower room wet. And this has it. So the addition is this, that I can slide this around, and I'm now in my own shower. This is more spacious than on my Fairline Phantom 42 because you've got an additional seat here. It's actually a cutout for a proper seat, look. So you can sit in here as well, and the controls are there. I feel like knock them, so I can get myself wet. But this is a big shower area, and I was always disappointed that they got rid of this on the Mark II because it would have been such a good addition. And I used my shower all the time on my Fairline 42 because it's easier than going up to the block. And you know, it's like in the morning when there's a million people up there. To have your own shower on board, which is very easy to use, is a great addition to this boat. Right, I'm going to come back in. And obviously hot and cold water, of course, and really that's the main differences between the Mark II. Look at that, there's a bottle holder under there. That's quite smart. You don't see many Mark 1s, so there's always a few quirks in it that I forget about. That lifts up as well. So there's a bit of... So that's access, actually. There would be storage if it wasn't for the air conditioning, but that is actually the aircon unit in there. And then that's it. That doesn't do anything. Access to the bilges there and the seacocks and the shower sump pump. But that is really the additions that the boat has had and the upgrades it's had. The only thing I want to do is just stick a nose in the engine bay and just show you those CAD 44 engines. So we'll pop up and do that now. Right, here we are down in the engine bay. And you can see that it's got the two CAD 44 engines. Now these are 260 horsepower each, and which is a significant upgrade from the other Mark 1 34s that you'll find that may have the 240 or even the 220 horsepower engines in. So it is a definitely you'll see the difference in the performance of this. So this will actually push now to around 35 knots. Whereas the earlier ones you were probably more around 30, 32 knots if you're lucky. With the Mark II kept this engine option, as well as when the CAD 300s came out, they then put that option in as well. And the CAD 300s will then boost you up to around late 30s, so maybe 40 knots if you're lucky. But the 44s are a really good middle of the range sort of option for the 34. More than enough power and good performance as well. They look well cared for. Things you need to look out on the CAD 44s is again condition. So general condition, corrosion that may have set in over the years, but these looking in nice shape. They look like there's components have been changed over the years. Things like the turbos and things don't look original to me. They look like they've been changed in recent years. That is something that needs... they do need rebuilding every now and again, not the engines, the turbos, and certain things around the engines just need to be well cared for, and it does look well cared for to me. So it's in nice condition. There is actually a generator here, but the engine doesn't look like it's operational, so I would assume that there's not listed, we haven't listed it, so we'll say it doesn't have a generator, but everything's here if you wanted to add one. So if you wanted to put a new Jenny in here, all the plumbing's here, everything's here, it's just ready to go. So it's just the additional new generator that you'd have to put in. So you can see a generator, but don't assume it's working because it isn't. But everything's here for one. That would be a good addition as well because of the air conditioning. So when you're off grid, you can still run the aircon in anchorages and things like that. The charger's been upgraded. It's got a newer charger, and the whole engine bay is in fairly good order with the calorifier at the back as well. So that is the CAD 44 engines. So let's jump back up. And that is it in a nutshell, really. The other thing I noticed is actually there's an LED strip light under the seat, look. So there's one there, and there's another one just here. So it just gives you that nice ambient lighting around, which you don't get on the earlier boats. So this has got a real nice mix of originality, but also the upgrades that you'd expect to see on a Targa 34, and that is from navigation to upholstery, covers, and obviously things like televisions and things like that have been fitted. So it has a very modern feel on an older boat, but don't forget the Targa 34 has always been a fantastic looking boat, and it's one of the boats that has stood the test of time over anything else. So still a very popular boat. So come and see this boat at parker-adams.co.uk. Get in touch if you want to come and do a viewing. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we're off to do the next walkthrough tour now, which is in Aquador 25C if you're interested. Come and see that one, but for now I'll say goodbye. So goodbye and see you on the next one.